Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Happy Cabbage Pod, as people are calling it nowadays. But this is just our webinar. We want to show you more of our product. This is one of our live demo webinars that we're going to be holding pretty regularly, if not monthly, by twice a week or twice a month. So we've got some really good stuff to show you today. We're going to be focusing on replenishment, which is really like how do we solve the problem of you running out of stock midday. There's a lot of money that's being left on the table when it comes to this problem, and we're going to show you exactly how we make sure you don't run out of stock on the sales floor when you're in stock in the vault. But if this is the first time that you've joined us before, I want to tell you just a quick, brief little bit about Happy Cabbage and what we are here to do. We help retailers stock what sells. And really, this is like us obsessing about the role of the retail buyer to such a degree that we are making sure that everything we are building is aimed towards helping them get the job done quickly, more accurately, and save a ton of cash and time while doing it. And also providing that level of visibility to the executive staff, to the owners, even down to the bud tenders when it comes to replenishment, which is what we'll be talking about today. We're about stocking smarter and growing faster. Retailers who use Happy Buyers, the tool we're going to show you, they are opening new stores. And that's just something that we're seeing regularly across the board. They're hiring new buyers and they're opening new stores because they're growing when everyone else is just trying to survive. And the reason they're growing is because when you're in this economic climate, as a cannabis retailer, you have to scratch your money out of every single corner possible. And the biggest bevy of that cash is sitting right on your inventory shelves, and you just don't even realize how big of a problem that is. We see it. We see it across hundreds of retailers across every state. And what we're seeing consistently is that every retailer that uses Happy Buyers is freeing up $150,000 in operating capital over 3 months just by reducing overstocked and aging inventory. And those buyers are saving on average about 10 hours a week just getting out of the spreadsheets. That money is being saved in overstocked inventory and aged inventory and in slow moving SKUs. There's a lot of times you're buying SKUs, you don't even realize they're not moving that fast, or they are just one of many products within a product line that is not performing where the others will. So we're looking at that data, we're crunching it for you, and we're helping you reduce your days of supply on hand by 40% or, down 17 days. We're helping you reduce your total SKUs, your slow moving SKUs by 11%, 14% respectively. That's where we're finding that $150,000 in cash that you get to put back into your store, invest in growth, maybe open one of those new doors that you've been hoping to get. And these are all the retailers, or actually, this is a very small section of very happy retailers who work with us. But you should call any of these retailers. You should reach out to them and ask them how they like working with us and how they like using our tool. They're all advocates for us because we are literally changing their game for them. We're finding them tons of cash. These are the retailers opening new stores, hiring new buyers. So reach out to them, let them know. Ask them, they'll let you know, rather. If you're integrated onto Dutchie, FlowHub, Blaze, or Trees, the good news is that we can work with you. We can also talk to you on Meadow. We're still working on developing out a further integration there to provide all of the feature sets, but still holler at us and we'll see what we can do to help work with you right now. And then if you would like to try this out for free and not take our word for it, we'll give you a 14-day free trial to anybody who wants to sign up. This is using your live store data. So for those 14 days, you can get into the product. You can start making reordering decisions. You can start reducing SKUs. You can save money in those 14 days that cover the cost of the entire year subscription if you use it correctly. So definitely come check it out. Come try it for free. If you don't like it at 14 days, no harm, no foul. We'll call each other friends, shake hands, and walk away. And if that seems a step too far and you just want to assess the damage, we'll give you a free inventory audit. We'll run the equations that we run on your stock regularly on your POS data, and we'll show you just how much money you have currently that we can help you save. We can show you where your margins and discount percentages are, show you where the red flags currently exist that we would help you fix. So with all that said, today, we're going to talk about how do you ensure that you are replenishing the sales floor and not causing what we call phantom out of stocks. This is when something seems out of stock because it's not on the sellable side of the retail environment, but it is actually in stock in the vault and you just don't know it. And you're not getting those alerts. You're not being told, this is what needs to be replenished. That's what we're here to talk about today. Andrew and Danny are going to be walking you through that. And just before we jump into that, real quick, if you have any questions that you want to ask about us, about the product, about the workflows, hit us up on the Q&A tool with the little question mark down in your Zoom toolbar, or you can just drop it into chat. A lot of people seem to really like to do that. Let's keep the chat lively. I'll be there, keeping it active. And if you want to disagree with us, if you want to add color on how you operate in your stores, drop it in there and let's have a good conversation. Okay, that was a fire hose. I'm going to jump it over to Andrew, and I'll see you guys at the Q&A.
Hi, everybody. So, like Brad mentioned, what we'll be talking about today is replenishment, right? So, what do we mean by replenishment? Well, this actually came from looking at situations where we were looking at something selling, seeing good sales volume from it, putting in a reorder on that, came into the store, and then we're not seeing all of a sudden the sales rates that we anticipate. When you dig into it, what you realize what's happening is someone is forgetting to move it from back of house to front of house. This is very difficult to look at and see in the point of sale system, because when you kind of just take a look at your inventory level, you'll just be like, I have 600 units of this. Particularly if you're looking across 5 stores, 10 stores, you'll be like, I have enough supply of this. Why isn't it selling? It must be because for some reason the customers aren't liking it. When the reality is it's just sitting in the back room and someone hasn't moved it to front of house so that it can actually sell through. So we call these phantom out of stocks. Doesn't show up as looking like it's out of stock, but the reality is that it is out of stock because it's not available in a sellable location. So how do we solve this if the point of sale systems are unable to address this directly? What we do at Happy Cabbage and with our system Happy Buyers is we look at every single inventory room, every single hour across all the locations. We map the inventory rooms in a custom integrated way to sellable locations. So these are your front of house locations, backstock locations. This is your vault. This is your back of house. This can also be some other custom rooms depending on your setup. And then excluded locations. These are locations that have quarantine. These are maybe locations of you're sending transfers out, you're sending things back. Overall, you don't want those included in your inventory count. And when we look at the hourly levels of inventory in all these rooms, what we're able to detect is instances in which there's zero inventory in the sellable room, but there is inventory in the backstock. And we can see that when this inventory is in the sellable room, it's selling 5, 10, 15 units a day. Obviously, when there's zero in sellable and there is inventory in backstock, the amount that it's going to sell is going to plummet to zero. So not only are we able to track this, but what we developed is automated daily replenishment reports that can go out to any team member, no login necessary, across any store. You can set these up to, hey, GMs at this store receive it, GMs at this other store receive a different one. You can set it up to a market manager or a multi-store manager receives one report with every single store. You can set it up that an executive or a buyer or someone who's a VP of retail can receive it for all stores. However you want to do it, essentially, this is a report that you can set up in our tool that hits the inbox of whomever every morning, approximately 7 or 8 a.m. And it'll tell them, hey, here are instances in which you have front of house inventory that will sell out today or has already been sold out. And you have back of stock inventory that you need to move in. We will also tell you packages, because you want to make sure that you're moving your older inventory that's in backstock out first, so you're not causing an aging issue by leaving your older packages in backstock constantly and letting that inventory age. And we'll also tell you the sales rate. So you can use that to say, hey, if I'm selling 10 units per day and I have 50 in backstock, and I want to be sure that my front of house has 3 days of inventory, I'm going to be moving 30 units off into my front of house inventory. Now, the big thing about this is that it does solve a little bit of the, what I would say, customer experience aspect that folks are making sure of. They don't want customers to go into the store, ask for a product, it's not on the sales floor. People think, oh, it's not there, when in reality, it's in the back of house. You want to make sure that when you're working with your vendor partners and your brand partners, that you're able to turn over the inventory in a certain amount of time to be able to pay them back. And you don't want to be missing out on sales because you don't have that inventory in front of house. But overall, the biggest thing is that it can diminish your belief of the actual run rate of your best performers. So not only are you dealing with the fact that, hey, I'm missing out sales because it wasn't in front of house that day, which can add up to thousands of dollars and is something that we do assess and do measure in our inventory audits. But also, when you go to reorder these products, you could be missing out on potentially thousands of more dollars of sales because you're underestimating the amount that you need to reorder. You're underestimating the amount that you should need to reorder because you're like, hey, it was in stock every day for the last 7 days, but it was only in front of house for half of those days. So you're estimating a run rate that is half of the amount that you need. Together, those effects can add up to tens of thousands of dollars a month. We work with some retailers across 5, 10, 15 locations. We're dealing with $5,000 of phantom out of stock a day. So this is material ROI, and it is something that a lot of folks are sort of aware of, but don't have a good solution to solve, which is why we've developed it. So with that, I'm going to let Danny take it over and run a quick demo demonstrating how to leverage this feature. Danny.
How's it going, everybody? Let me share my screen so you can see it. And let's walk through this. So as Andrew mentioned, there's a couple things that led us to kind of discovering this feature. This was a little bit of a surprise feature, that I love in our feature development and timelines, where there was data science. Those of you that know Andrew's, background and a lot of his current work is still as a data scientist. So we're always looking at data. We're always looking at, retail sales data and inventory data and the correlations between them and trying to find interesting points in there to increase revenue, profit, decrease costs at the retail level. Looking at that, we started to see these run rates like dropping midday, right? And like, that's interesting. This pre-roll sold 32 units a day. Why would it just tank all of a sudden by these hours, right? We see it in stock. It's marked as in stock. What's going on here? So it's one of these interesting things that came up just from analyzing data and then talking to people about how, oh yeah, cases get lost. Case gets kicked under the table in there. We forget to replenish it. The other thing that's really, really interesting that ties back to our platform, Happy Buyers, is we realize because our run rates are more accurate, we can predict the out of stock at a level that the point of sale reports and the spreadsheets aren't. We always say our run rates can be 20 to 30% more accurate. We do not just report on point of sale data. We do not take the days on hand or the run rates from the point of sale and display them in our app. We calculate that. We predict that demand. We have modeled that. We are constantly adding things to our understanding of the true run rate of a product, which means you can get surprised by a fast mover that your point of sale is under reporting, where you think you have 3 days on hand and you have 4 hours on hand, and that's going to cost you sales. So I always want to anchor this in the math is really, really important, and the math is really, really interesting. And that's where a lot of this comes from. So I'm going to show you a couple things on how you can get to this in Happy Buyers, the things that impact that math, and how easy this is to set up. And it's a little bit of a unique feature for us because it's one of our only features that extends outside of the users of our application, because we know that lead bud tending team, that assistant general manager, the one who is in the store every day. It might be a team that rotates. So a lot of these go to like a distribution email list that's like, retail team at, downtownburbs.com, who gets it every day and replenishes it. This kind of extends this reach because the buyers don't want to have to email this every single day to say replenish these 27 SKUs at this store. They want that to happen automatically. So you'll see more of that from us. We're getting a lot of requests after this, but it's been wildly successful. So the first version of this was just the quick links. When you log into Happy Buyers as your home screen, it kind of gives you those, things that need to draw your attention. A lot of the things Brad mentioned up top about, aging products and low profit products and overstock products. This gets you to that quickly. The first one here, because it's been value, it's been one of the most clicked, is the replenish to sales floor. So our first version of this, which was live for a few months, was just the buyers or any user who had access to Happy Buyers. One note there, we'll always say we do not charge by user. You get unlimited users. We love to see as many of the retail users as you want to share this data and functionality with. That's included in your Happy Buyer subscription. So we saw a lot of user counts kind of increase because it didn't cost them anymore. And you could get this across all your stores. You can see in our demo environment, our smog, which is on the nose because I just recently watched all of the Lord of the Rings trilogy in theaters, and that was incredible for the 25th anniversary. And I took my son to that, and he's still talking
Technically,
about
that's The Hobbit.
True. But we'll consider it Lord of the Rings universe, Middle Earth universe, right? So maybe influence in our demo environment naming here. But I got 5 stores. So I can click this replenish to sales floor. I can look at it across all stores. I can look at it at one store. I'll call out a fun feature here that I think can make this interesting is we recently added multi-column sorting. So if you shift click in Happy Buyers here, I can find, so what I did here was sellable inventory ascending. So you'll see the zeros here. Our sellable inventory, I'll call it these 2 columns because replenishment really revolves around the difference in these 2 numbers. Is my sellable inventory, which is the inventory that is in a sellable room. And I'll also pull back and show you how you set those up. And it can be different than your point of sale. You can control what's on your e-com menu and what's marked. Different statuses, sellable, e-com available in your point of sale can be different than in Happy Buyers and often is. So my sellable inventory and then my current inventory, which is all of the sellable and all the backstock rooms here. So I'm sorting this ascending. You get a bunch of zeros here. And I'm sorting it descending. So you can see the little 2 here. So I'm doing a multi-column sort. This is showing me my fastest movers that are out of stock on the sales floor. So we can see that these like rainbow belt pre-rolls that Andrew loves so much would sell 17 a day, but they're not sellable right now, which means somebody would have to ask for them. I did bud tender training for years. We always talked about, bud tenders are turning around. They're looking at your current inventory. They're pulling products out and they're putting them on the counter. It's a literal out of sight, out of mind situation in these phantom out of stocks. It may not be showing on your e-com menu. It may not be in reach of a bud tender. It may not be on the hang tag. It may not be in that pre-roll bin. And I've got, 100 of these, but none of them are sellable. And I'm moving 17 a day. These are lost sales, right? And you start working through this list. Each one of these is lost sales, lost revenue. And I could easily pull up the profit per unit on this, and you could do a quick exercise on how many units it is. Most of our customers have recouped thousands of dollars a month by implementing a daily replenish strategy, right? So this is the data that underpins it. Our run rates are super accurate. We have all these rooms configured. The change we made was people loved that, but they didn't always want to give users access to the data in Happy Buyers because there's a lot of interesting data in here. You can lock it down by store, and there's a lot of ways to control it. But they're like, we just want somebody, an assistant manager. We want a lead bud tender to get this. We want a distribution list of whoever's responsibility it is every day to get this. So you see this little settings wheel here. This is the new thing that was added. And this has really, really, really been adopted quickly. This has been one of those features that is just fun to catch on and see here. So you can come in here to your replenishment report settings, easily create a report, give it a name, your downtown, distribution daily list. You can comma separate a list of names. Again, these or email addresses do not have to be users of the platform. They will get a link with a PDF in their inbox every morning with what's going to run low that day. A lot of times these will just be single stores. I have one set up here for me as an example of a multi-store because maybe I have 2 stores that are physically close and I have a team that rotates around that store and can be responsible for both. A lot of times these are single store reports. You can create as many of them as you want. Put as many email addresses as you want on there. What stores get this? That's as easy as it gets. Once these are created, I can download an example on the fly. I can trigger an email send. These will automatically send every morning. And what you'll get is this. You'll get a nice your daily replenish to sales floor checklist. It looks like this. Here's your little happy store because it's fully stocked. Here's your Tuesday, April 7th version of it. This is a live one. And they'll just get this in a PDF. They can open this on the phone. You could print this out and check it off if you want. You could have your kind of backstock iPad where you open this up and just do it. You could forward this around to different people. But this will come automatically every day with the configured stores. You saw mine had 2 stores in it. So this gets pretty long. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be replenished here across these 2 stores. But it just breaks it down in a really easy flow here. Store, if there's more than one store, you'll get this group by store. Then we group it by category because your backstock in your vault is likely organized by different categories. Here's the pre-roll sections, here's the concentrates, here's the flour, right? So I can go through that area. Then I'm going to get it broken down by the products that are low. I'm showing you the run rate here. This gives you an idea of how many to put out on the sales floor. We don't know the size of all of your bins. You might want a 2-day supply. You might want a 1-day supply. So this tells you how many are moving per day with our hyper accurate run rates. You know what to put out there. We'll show you how many units are on the sales floor. You can see a lot of these are sold out, and it'll tell you how many units are on the back stock. Below this, we'll show you what is now, I think, since it's metric and BioTrack merge, I'll just say metric package IDs. It's just the package ID that we get from your system, but I think it's safe to say metric now. It's just kind of a general metric is the Kleenex. So here's your metric package ID. So if you've got those labeled, you can grab that. What's great is this is sorted ascending. This is first in, first out. You want your oldest product on the sales floor first, right? You want to move through that. So this is showing you that package ID and the date that package was received into your inventory. So this is kind of your aging trigger, right? It'll tell you your oldest packages in here. And what's interesting here, you can see a lot of these are sold out. And these packages, it's not like these were just in today. Like these are, and this is live data. Our demo environment seeds from a couple live anonymized data situations in here. But you'll see that, a lot of these sold out unexpectedly. These packages have been in there for a couple of weeks. It's not like it was received this morning and hasn't been labeled yet. These are probably surprise fast movers that just caught you off guard. Your point of sale underestimated the run rate, probably due to partial hour out of stocks. This is a recurring situation if you rely on POS reporting. If it ran out of stock last Friday at noon, and you reorder from the point of sale run rate report, it will run out of stock most likely this Friday at noon again. It's telling you it's doing the same simple division. A lot of people are ordering what they ordered last time. Those run rates are not accounting for the out of stocks by the hour, and it's a perpetual phantom out of stock machine until you get it handled and start leveraging these accurate run rates and replenishment and truly give it a chance to be sold. So your teams can get this. This can be store by store. This can be sent to distribution lists. It's very easy to work off of. We've gotten a lot of feedback adding this, organizing this from people that are using this every day and driving their replenishment lists to zero by keeping everything fresh on the shelf. In the inbox, very, very easy to set up in here. One thing I do want to show on the underpinning, there's some really important things coming out. It's 420 season. Other things that impact your run rate, 420. We have blockout dates in our system to smooth your run rates so that we don't over-report run rates. That first order after 420, every buyer is doing their mental math of reducing all their point of sale reports or just frankly ignoring their point of sale reports for like 30 days until it normalizes. You can do that in Happy Buyers. You can put your sales in here. You can put entire store blockouts. You can put the dates. You can basically tell us their sales anomalies. We'll smooth out the run rate so that next order is right. So that run rate is right, which also impacts your replenishment. And the other one here is the inventory rooms. That settings, Andrew showed this on the slide. This backstock excluded sellable. We walk through this with you during onboarding, during setup, during your free trial, so we can give you an accurate view of your backstock inventory, your total inventory, your sellable inventory. This can be different than your point of sale configuration, and that is extremely powerful. You can tell us rooms are sellable that you don't have marked as e-com available if you want, or vice versa. We're going to take all the units and all the rooms marked sellable, And then we're going to take all the units in the rooms marked back stock. We're going to look at the difference between that. And that's how we're going to build up this view of what needs to be replenished every day with a hyper accurate run rate dropped in the inbox to whoever is responsible for moving that product. So we guarantee it's sellable. What I miss, Andrew?
No, I mean, it hit it on the head. It's simple, it's easy, and it makes you thousands of dollars. So that's the idea. Cool. I think from here, hey Brad, we're gonna open it up
Hey.
to some last quick Q&As if anyone has any questions on the feature itself.
Yeah, what I'd like to kick off with actually is, can either of you guys tell me a story or two about the ways you've seen retailers handle this problem prior to working with Happy Buyers, and then sort
Mm,
of what was
Yep.
changed?
The most common, honestly, I see, I have not, some of this data is surfaceable in the point of sale. I honestly have not talked to many retailers that are leveraging point of sale information to do it. It's usually walking the store. It's walking the store, old school clipboard, maybe the modern clipboard, which is an iPad. It's walking the store and noting what's low a few times a day is how I've seen most people do this, which can be
Mm,
effective, right? And it will still catch some things that maybe somebody came in and literally bought the entire bin of pre-rolls and that
right.
was an anomaly. Your run rate is 3 a day and somebody buys, their daily limit because they've got something going on and that bin gets cleared in 10 minutes.
I've been that buyer
Somebody
before.
yeah, and somebody notices it, like our system would notice that in an hour because we sync every hour, but maybe somebody notices it faster and puts it out there, right? I see
Sure.
a lot of walking the store, taking the notes, replenish. That's human error prone, right? That's like visually glancing at it and not realizing that certain products are low that were faster mover, like the hang tag might look full, the bin might look full, you might miss a bin.
Sure.
It's just error prone, right? And when we look at the data and we send them during our trial, here's the 47 products that are out of stock, it is always shocking and surprising.
Mm,
And usually it is a record stop, like, I need to send an email right now. The times we see that because we do free trials, we talked about that up front, right? We do free trials on your data, full access, every feature, including this. We help you set up your rooms, we help you categorize all your data, we do QCs on it, we get it dialed in, we do an inventory health check. You log in, you see that replenishment list that first time. It is always eye-opening because the data is more accurate, or run rates are more accurate. The rooms are configured at a level you can't see. And it always triggers this flurry of, we need a new SOP for this. We are missing sale. And you can quantify it. We can export that list and say $3,700 a daily sales, phantom out of stock right now. And people jump into action, right? It's
yeah.
presented in a way it's more accurate. So I don't think there's a good analogy in the I don't see a lot of spreadsheets built for this, honestly. I see a lot of floor walks. I think the spreadsheets are just, they don't have the right picture. The rooms aren't configured right. It's not even like solvable in a really good way in a spreadsheet because
Right.
the data isn't there from the point of sale in an accurate way to make it useful.
Like, you're not able to set the data up in the POS for this to work that
yeah,
way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're at
yeah.
odds with most point of sales. I won't say this as like an absolute. Most point of sales, you're configuring your rooms for your e-com menu. And
Mm,
that's why that feature exists. And that's where that feature came from, is like, what I need to control what's displayed on my in-store displays versus my e-com menu, right? And because you set it up for that, which you might have very specific rules about what you're putting on the menu, and even what customer base is ordering e-com, or if
right.
you have delivery, or if you have, the pre-orders and all these kind of things, sometimes it's a subset of your menu.
Right. Right.
And sometimes there's very specific business reasons you've configured your rooms in that way.
Hmm.
Those are not the total picture of your inventory. So I would say 90% of the time, the happy buyer's room config differs from the point of sale room config, which is why we have it, which is why we created it, which is why that feature came from that, right? So we can do all the aging right, and we can do all the in stock, out of stock right, and then we can do the replenishment right. So you're not going to create like another system. Like, we're the first system that lets you categorize that way. And it would be really difficult to pull those rooms in a different setting from your point of sale and recreate the idea of tagging rooms. Like, I'm sure somebody has done it. We have seen the wildest spreadsheets you've ever seen. I will say, we've seen the most impressive spreadsheets you've ever seen. I'm sure somebody's done it, but that's a lot of work to get at that.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, you really need that like hourly, almost real time data feed to be
Yeah.
able to do that in a
Yep.
spreadsheet to begin with. Yeah, as a customer, I have like literally experienced the use case for this because, like I said, I can sometimes be an anomaly purchaser, which is that I've got a family member whom I see only every once in a while, and usually when I see them, I'm giving them hundreds of dollars worth of CBN gummies to help with their sleep because it gets them off prescriptions, right? So what I'm doing is buying at my full purchase limit for edibles and a very specific brand with a very specific
Yep.
formulation, specifically wild elderberry CBN gummies, right? Because those are the ones
Yep.
that have worked the best. And I will start looking at online menus of all of the retailers nearby. And I have experienced it where they only show three in stock. And I'm like, well, I need eight. I'm not going to go waste time for
Yeah.
three. But I ended up there anyway, and they actually had eight. They just
Yep.
showed three online. And they were
Yep.
like, no idea why that's out of stock. I went to a retailer the other day and asked for a brand that they had on their menu that they're like, we haven't carried them in months. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, this comes to some level of like,
Yeah.
e-com management. You got to
Yep.
manage your menus. But as a consumer, if I didn't see the amount of what I needed on their menu online, I didn't even bother going to the store most of the time to check. I
Yep.
just did it once and was shocked to learn the discrepancy. They had
Yep.
like 20, 30 in stock and they only showed three online, right? So
Yep.
they lost
So
out. A lot of
that's the
retailers have
inventory
lost
room
out.
settings. Yeah. Yep. And it's even, I mean, you take that, you're window shopping. A lot of people do that. That's still an advanced flow, right? Like there's still
Hmm.
like a majority of walk-in customers. And a
Yeah.
lot of these shops are set up where the customer's walking around before talking to a bud tender, standing in front of
Yep.
a case. And if they don't see it, like, or they see something else, now their eyes are drawn, right? So this can be a problem for the brands too. Like this is just a straight up visibility problem, top to bottom, right?
Or
That
even
Yep.
like the fact that like if you have a budget has to run into the back room every single time to like be like,
Mhm.
oh wait, we do have it. Like if you think of time for transactions, if you think of
Yeah.
just
Totally.
like all the little things that exist with the fact that it's a four-wall retail business at the
Yep.
end of the
Yep.
day. Right. And to the point on the so much of it was set up for ecom, like fortunately a lot of software came into maturity during the pandemic. And so a lot of it was set up with that in mind
Yeah.
when
Right.
everything has moved back inside, back into these stores. And it's a matter of capturing those nuances as much as possible.
And one thing I'll say, the numbers are very real. There's very few customers we onboard that don't take advantage of this. This is one of the most used features of the platform, which is why we extended it to these automated reports. We find that often this feature alone covers the entire cost of our platform. And of course, you're going to do your weekly ordering accurately and reduce the number of cases you're ordering. You're going to reduce your aging by those huge numbers we showed at the beginning, right? All of that is still true. And many times this feature alone can cover the cost of the software with ROI. So it's an extremely valuable problem to solve. And it's a problem that most retailers we encounter see. Some people just have no front of house sales. Like there are definitely, situations where it wouldn't be applicable. The majority of retailers have this problem, whether they've made it a priority or not. But it's actually an easy one to fix.
No doubt. Right on. Well, the good news, folks, is that we can give you some time back. These live demo webinars, particularly as we continue to hold them, aren't going to be as long as our general buyer discussions. So, depending on how much interaction we get in Q&A, it may go a little longer than 30 minutes, but we don't need to keep you the full hour. So, anyway, what we really highly suggest is like just come check it out, right? Like we just showed you this one feature on this live demo. There's so much more we can show you in less than an hour if we have a structured demo and can talk about the workflows you actually have in your retail store. When you decide to start working with happy buyers, and if you want to try our 14-day free trial, we're going to map the tool to those workflows so that we make sure that we're not trying to change how you work. We're just trying to improve it, make it better, make it smarter, make it faster, show you where you're missing out on sales, show you where you have too much overstock inventory, and make you that cash, save you that money, save you that time. So check it out. We'll talk about what you're dealing with in your actual environment. How many buyers? Do you have central distro or not? We have solutions for all of it. And then we can get you set up with a free inventory audit or a 14-day free trial for you to try it out. Almost everybody who goes into our free trial becomes a customer because it's just that useful. Like I said, like they said, the replenishment reports alone are enough to save you the cost of the subscription. So come check it out. Book that demo. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you guys on the next one.
If you think you have this problem, sign up for the trial. We'll load your data and we will show you the value of it. It's that easy and there's no strings attached. We will send you this for 2 weeks. You will get these every day and you can keep your store stocked. And then you can say, cool, I made a bunch of money. I don't want to work with you. You probably won't, but you can do it. We'll show you the exact quantity that you need to replenish every day. So sign
Yeah.
up and work with us on it.
And if you want to ask Andrew or Danny any other follow-up questions, here are their email addresses. Go ahead and reach out to them directly. In the meantime, we'll catch you on the next one.
Thanks, Al.
Bye,
See y'all.
everybody.